Hello from Tesro, Canada. How is everybody doing? We had a bit of technical issues with recording our shot show updates, so we decided to re-record them and then post them as smaller videos. So here we go. Let's do this again. Um, let's start with the with Lapua update and see what's going on, what's new with Lapua, and what's kind of certain, what is the current situation with components and everything coming from Lapua. So let's start with the most exciting news from Lapua, which is that they did announce two new cartridges. In particular, they announced two new small bore long range cartridges. And what does that really mean? So essentially, it looks like they Lapua decided to um, to have a higher end long range cartridge similar to SK long range. So for those of you who don't know, Lapua and SK belong to the same company. So Lapua bought SK a few years back, and they're made in the same location. I think they're two separate production lines, but SK and Lapua made in the same factory. Um, so what Lapua is doing is they're having a Lapua long range cartridge. So essentially, they're going to have a two grades of it. One is going to be called Lapua long range, and ballistically is going to be very, very similar to SK long range. And I think it's essentially going to be more or less exactly the same in terms of the ballistic performance to what we're used to from SK long range. However, we're going to see better quality control. We're going to see tighter groups, especially in the shorter distances, so those 50 to 100 meters. And in general, kind of Lapua level of the consistency from shot to shot. Um, so they basically announced two grades of it: Lapua long range and Lapua super long range. I think the name super long range is a little bit funny, but it's not any longer that it's going. I think they're going with the older tradition where Lapua used to have a super club as one of their ammunition that's been discontinued kind of years ago. So looks like it's going to land somewhere around in between Cenerex and Midas in terms of the price point. So we don't know what that's going to be yet exactly, but looks like a long range is going to be somewhere between Cenerex and Midas, and the super long range is going to be around Midas, maybe a little bit higher in terms of the price range. Um, so that's pretty exciting for all of us that like shooting Lapua ammunition. And I think it's going to be particularly exciting for the PRS style shooters, and also for the benchers shooters looking to shoot, the ones that are shooting distance beyond 50 meters. So a lot of benchers matches are now shooting 100 meters or even 200 meters. So I think that's really gonna where the kind of primary application of these two new cartridges is going to be. Um, Also, kind of under the hood, at least it's new to us. Maybe Lapua kind of quietly announced this, but they released a couple of new 6.5 or 55 Swedish cartridges. They're not really a new product; they're more like a tuned product. So perhaps that's why there was no big announcement for it, and it kind of slipped under the radar. But it's same 6.5 or 55 cartridge in terms of the type of bullets that they're using, but they're adding more powder, so it's going to be or changing the powder and charging it, so it's going to be a little bit higher velocity. So that was kind of thing that was demanded, that was asked for a while by a lot of shooters using Lapua 6.5 or 55, which had kind of conservative loads and they're relatively soft loads, so to say. So that's going to be really good addition for 6.5 or 55 shooters looking to kind of get a little bit more velocity out of that cartridge, which is immensely popular. Lots of really good 6.5 or 55 Swedish older rifles, and surplus rifles that shoot incredibly well. So it's been kind of a popular, bit of a sleeper cartridge, so to say, as it's not the first 6.5 cartridge that people think of, but quite a few people are enjoying it as a really good kind of medium range cartridge. Other news from Lapua, we kind of announced that before, but looks like the primer factory is well underway. I believe it's either being built or the building is finished and they're furnishing it. I'm not really sure. That there was a couple of kind of conflicting stories I heard at the Lapua stand, but either way, the primer factory is a go and is being worked on Lapua, and we're hoping to see production soon. I mean, we'd like to have those primers tomorrow, but in reality, probably looking at a couple of years before we see them. But I think that's really good news long term, that there's going to be more primer suppliers. I mean, as everybody knows, we've had primer shortages, kind of rolling primer shortage over many years. So this really makes sense that Lapua has kind of tried to ensure its own supply chain for its own cartridges, and of course, we're hoping that's going to be enough for the consumer end as well. We don't know anything about the product lines or anything like that. That's still all to be announced and to be seen. In terms of the other kind of products from the Namo group, so Burger Bullets and SK and Vihtavuori powder, they're all in production. We know that some of the Lapua cartridges, Lapua brass cases have been put on hold, and they kind of reiterated to me when I visited them at the Shotshow that there have not been discontinued. The production has been paused or delayed, as they kind of, that's the language they were using, and just so that they can focus kind of on more of the sort of primary calibers like 223 and 308 and so on and so forth. We're going to miss a lot of target caliber, a lot of target caliber oriented cases are kind of being affected, especially the one that we're really didn't want to see produced less of is a 308 small rifle primer cases, but unfortunately it is what it is. So at least we hope that this is going to give Lapua some time to catch up with production, and we're going to start seeing more regular quantities of Lapua products coming in. In terms of the ammunition, they said small bore ammunition and centerfire cartridges production is full on. Everything is kind of going, full capacity. Of course, there's lots of demand. So how much of it we're going to see in Canada, that's a different story. Powders in a similar way. The Vihtavuori production is going well. They're producing lots of powder. They said they're delivering more powder than they ever had. It's just demand has really jumped on the Vihtavuori powder, so that's why we're kind of seeing shortages here, which kind of reflects, as it has been for us. We've been getting more Vihtavuori powder than ever, but there's a lot more demand on the powders that are available, because some other brands have not been able to deliver on a regular basis. And the other thing, that there's some products that were discontinued. So it's confirmed that the Lapua Biathlon Extreme has been discontinued now, and it's still available. I think in some small quantities, maybe from some dealers. We might even have some available. I haven't checked, but it has been discontinued. I know some folks had really good results with it and really enjoy shooting, especially on the longer range in the cold. But we think that so Polar should perform very similar for the cold weather, and then for those that like kind of Lapua level quality of the ammunition, the long range, the super long range should kind of fill in that gap. Um, and yeah, so it, overall, talking to the folks from Lapua, that um, they were quite upbeat about what's coming this year, and that was good to see. It's on surface, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of new products from Lapua, and Lapua generally does not release a lot of new products. Lapua's been kind of over the years that we've been following it, relatively conservative with the amount of products that they release. However, when they do release product, they generally stick with it. Of course, I just said they discontinued the Polar Extreme, but they found that it wasn't performing up to the spec in certain applications, and it really did not make sense for them to produce it. So I mean, it's good to see that they're really focused on their core products, and they're continuing to support them. And when they do announce the product, that they're going to kind of stand behind it. So yeah, so we're looking forward to getting the new cartridges, new small bore cartridges from Lapua, and testing them out. We'll announce it in our newsletter, or in the update videos whenever we have news on when these are coming in. But until then, well, fingers crossed that they will come in soon. And yeah, so that's the update for Lapua. We'll do a couple more shorter videos on updates from the other brands. Thanks everybody for watching. Follow us either on this channel, or subscribe to our newsletter, which you can do right from our website. And you can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We could be reached by phone 613-729-8059, by email at info@tesro.ca, on our website www.tesro.ca. Thanks everyone for watching, and have a great day.